Well, hi guys, Paul here from PA Brew News. Just got back from work at Good Jazz. We're doing a beer here from the Evergreen Brewing Company from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Pretty good damn brewery so far from what I've had. This is their Joose. I just said that right. Juicy. Juice. Juicy. So, this is a 6% alcohol by volume IPA. So there we go. And there is juicy. There you go. I just saw them having a post about the IPA. Today was a little gif. Guy had the shirt on, so apparently they make shirts of this and stuff over at the brewery. Yeah, 6% India Pale Ale. Government warnings. Produced, brewed, and bottled, aka canned, by Evergreen Brewing Company. They're called 444 Carlisle Pike, Suite C, Camp Hill, PA. There you go. 717-525-8222 is the phone number. And they're on Instagram, or on Twitter rather. And then their website is evergreenbrewing.com. So there you go. There's all the information that you need to get a hold of these guys. So I definitely need to do a couple beer runs. I like to hit Western PA, like, drive out to my horror movie places like Evans City and Monroeville, Pittsburgh, those kind of areas, and then hit the breweries there. But I should definitely travel down, just kind of take I don't know how you call it, like a Brandywine or just down the Susquehanna and kind of hit the breweries that head down to like Gettysburg and stuff like that, and then hit this one on the way for sure. I guess they opened a couple other ones recently down that area too, Dillsburg and whatnot, etc. So I definitely have. I mean, breweries have been sprouting up in Pennsylvania like you wouldn't believe. So definitely a lot to choose from now. Okay, Haze for Days, right there. The pillowy head is now getting to like real big bubbles, so things are opening up nicely here. Okay, let's get some aroma on this one. A little bit of a confectionery sugar sweetness or a lactose sweetness, oat sweetness, torrefied wheat. Those kind of tones. I got that right away coming up from the body. After that, you got like clementine, tangerine, grapefruit, maybe even a little fleshy mango in there. It smells juicy and goosey and roasty. Okay, here we go. Cheers. Yeah, already I can tell you there's a punch of hops. Really, really sharp, bitey, spicy hops. Earthy, just hit a pine in there too, actually. In that earthiness, there's a little nuance of pine. A lot of oily, juicy, drying, beautiful hops. As I said, spicy, a little earthy, a little nuance of pine in there. I'm getting something that reminds me a little bit of a nuance of pine in that earthiness, dryness. Of course, those juicy hop oils giving those beautiful fruit flavors, and also working on the palate. I think, even though as harsh and as biting as that was, I think the malt balance, or the malt bill, played a nice, subtle, sweet balance to it, so it wasn't too abrasive. Yeah. Aggressive and attacking as it is, it's still nicely balanced. Beautiful, wafting, peppery, spicy qualities from those drying hops, those earthy hops. And of course, those oils still wafting away on the palate. There's a little bit of sweetness. This isn't that New England IPA style. It's Haze for Days for sure, but it's got a nice back bitterness, abrasive aggressiveness to it that's really enjoyable, and it brightens the whole experience. Plus, the malt base has enough subtle, like oat, torrefied wheat, maybe even a little bit of lactose sweetness to balance that aggressiveness, but yet not to become too overly sweet or something like that. It still has a nice drying aspect to this beer, and it has a beautiful, like, kind of, you want to go back in for more to get more of that attack, and then dry, and then back more for attack and dry. But yet, I think for people that are moving away from those New England IPAs that are only sweetness and they can't handle the bitterness, this is a very like this is that next big step before you get to those other steps where you start getting really aggressive like West Coast IPAs and stuff, where you're moving away from the haze for days sweetness and you're moving into other more aggressive styles of IPAs. This still might be a little bit aggressive for too many people. I mean, there's a lot of other, like the Blue Detour by them, for example, would be a little bit less aggressive in the bitterness aspect as this one. But, you know, that's a nice progressive step towards this and then beyond. But it's good. There we go. Chuck the rest of that in there. Pinch my nose, wobbly. Nice. Very nice beer. With the rest of it in there, I'm getting a little bit more, surprisingly, I'm getting more just wafting, earthy bitterness, nuances of those hop oils. The juiciness is kind of fallen off from that initial hit. I'm getting more acclimated to it, so it's kind of falling off the edge a little bit. Some of that ripe juices that you get from the nose, but it's still there. Now I'm getting something that reminds me. What is that? All of a sudden now, there's a floral tone coming out as I drink this. Now that I put the rest of it in there, getting more of a floral tone on that earthiness. Floral. Something else, like a peach or an apricot. And they're not super juicy, but there's a twinge of something in there, in that floralness. Interesting. It's going to change a little bit from the beginning to now to this point. Interesting. You know what? Maybe it's not a fruit that I'm tasting. I know it sounds weird because I'm kind of just like, oh, in my head. Maybe it's more of like a resinous quality coming up now, mixing with that earthy, peppery hops. I'm just trying to think because it's starting to waft away now, and I'm breathing more like herbal, floral qualities are coming up. And I think a resinous is kind of coming. A resin is kind of coming up with that as well, opening up a little bit. Yeah, it's more on these. It's haze for days. Don't get me wrong, but it's leaning to more of these aggressive, palate wrecking, not all the way, but palate attacking, West Coast IPA styles and stuff like that. Yes, it's full of tropical juice and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's a definitely different brew. It's a brew that a lot of people that aren't drinking so much right now, which, but it's nice that it's still out there and it's kind of combining best of both worlds kind of deal. The juice, juicy. The juice, juicy. The loosey, the juice, juicy. Let's see if it says anything about the beer. Okay, here we go. Don't shake the tree when the fruit ain't ripe. All right. Soft textured with a pleasant bitterness. Pleasant. It's pretty bitter compared to a lot of the beers anymore. This Free Spirit India Pale Ale features a malty backbone supporting a dank, resinous hop. Oh, okay, cool. There is a lot of resinous kind of qualities that did come up. I was wondering. I was like, hop character with aromas of pine and citrus. The pine is muted. But there was a lot of nice, earthy, very spicy earthiness in there. When I got this, the resinous actually didn't, until I put the rest in the can, or the can in the bottle, and really started watching it. Then it would start slowly, a floral tone would come up, and then that resinous kind of, I thought I was getting a different kind of fruit, like a more of a musty, kind of pungent fruit, but actually I was like, okay, no, that's resinous. So I'm glad I was right there. This is definitely an as advertised beer. It's not as subtle the bitterness is not as subtle, like pleasant. It kind of reminds me of the word subtle a little bit, but it's a very assertive bitterness, and it definitely works the palate, which is nice. The malt backbone definitely does help balance the beer out a little bit, Ben, which I think would lean to an approachability to other beer drinkers that are more used to the hazy, sweeter IPAs and stuff like that. But it's still a nice beer, and it definitely as advertised for sure. Yeah, nice. So it is like as I said, it's like the best of both worlds. That haze for days, kind of malt backbone, like kind of sweeter malt backbone with like nice little, as I said, like I was getting like a little bit of clementine in there, a little bit of tangerine, those kind of qualities. Even a little stone fruit like a mango or a papaya or even a peach, kind of like a weird subtle stone fruit at the front, especially in the aroma. But then you have that tangerine, grapefruit, resinous pine, hints of resinous pines and stuff like that, kind of blending the both worlds together quite nicely. It's good. It's not blowing my socks off or anything like that, as Matt from Mass Beers Reviews likes to say and stuff. But it's still really good. I'm gonna give it 8.5 out of 10. So 8.5 out of 10 for Joose. So there we go, from Camp Hill Brewing Company. Evergreen Brewing Company from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Good beer for sure. This has been Paul from PA Brew News. Oh, someone just showed up. I'm sorry about that. About ready to finish. But I might be back for another one from the Rusty Rail Brewing Company. The Sidetrack number 56 Smoky Banjo. Smoked porter with vanilla. So that is going to probably happen next. So there we go. But I don't want to do too many this week because my 1500 video is coming up very soon, and I want to make sure I go and get a special beer for that. So I don't want to overshoot the mark. So anyway, this has been Paul from PA Brew News. Cheers. Bye-bye.